Welcome to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. My name is Chris, and I am joined once again by my good friend Matt.
I cannot think of anything more painfully unfunny right now than the fucking Progressive commercials where they're on a Zoom call.
Oh man, you just tapped into something deep within me about my hatred for the Progressive commercials.
Listen,
Generally.
Progressive for the most part has pretty good commercials. I fucking love the becoming your parents stuff.
Oh no, that's good. No, I agree with that.
That shit is great. The Zoom call shit is so unfunny. And at the start of this, the funniest reaction that I would have given to it would have been a heh. And now that we're past all this shit, it's just not a fun time.
I've always found that the flow, I don't mind flow, but I find the flow centric
Extended
commercials,
universe.
the extended universe, to be rather obnoxious and not really all that funny. Like even when it goes to her family, I'm just like when she plays all the roles, I'm just like, okay, that's fine. I don't really find that very interesting at all. I find the extended universe of the people who she works with not to be that funny either. Flo herself is fine. It's the everyone else, all these other characters that they're trying to introduce that I just find to be rather too much. I'd rather them have just had her be the focus and not really have all these other universe characters. Legit, when we were initially brainstorming podcast ideas, I wanted to pitch a commercial review podcast.
Really?
It did not actually, I don't know if I ever actually said it. I doubt I did.
I don't remember it.
But I legit, I don't really watch a lot of main TV where I get to watch all the commercials all the time, but I always have an opinion about the commercials, and I'm just man, if only I had some sort of outlet where I could just either crush a commercial or praise a commercial. I'm oh man, that's a good podcast idea. Damn, I wonder if anyone has done it before, because that's
a good question.
To me, it seems like it could be a lot of fun. Welcome everyone to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. With the opt-outs happening this week and kind of just training camp starting to get underway, there really was not, outside of the opt-outs, not a lot of news this week, and we also don't really have any major segment. We did a lot of major big time segments over the last 2 weeks, so we're gonna kind of keep it simple this week. So if it's on a little bit of the shorter side, we apologize. When we get back to weekly, it's gonna have some of these weeks where it's just kind of they're not gonna all be great, That's fine. But we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna later on. We're going to be assigning video game characters as mascots for teams, not necessarily describing the teams the situation around the teams, but just the team mascots themselves, specifically targeting that. And then we are going to do our next set of assigning stats with the Anaconda Mountaineers. So stay tuned for that. But first, let's talk about the opt-outs, because that was a big story leading up to the Thursday deadline, which has now since passed. It's been about an hour and a half since it passed when we were recording this. Some big names happened early. We already kind of discussed that last week. Dante Hightower and Patrick Chung and Marcus Cannon for the all those for the Patriots. You also had David Williams for the Chiefs and the Tardif for the Chiefs. Or they're both the Chiefs. Never mind. But we did get a few other big names. C.J. Mosley for the Jets, their big time signing last year on defense, has opted out of the season. We also saw 2 Miami Dolphins wideouts in Allen Hurns and Albert Wilson also opt out on the season. And there was one more. I think there was the Broncos offensive lineman that they signed. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. This list is all kind of weird. Oh, Jawan James. Jawan James has opted out of the season. Geronimo Allison also opted out for the Lions.
One of my favorite players of all time because I saw him in college.
Sean
Made
Coleman. Go ahead.
Made my favorite. Just real quick story about Geronimo.
Yeah.
My sophomore year of college, it was against Nebraska. He made one of the greatest catches the greatest catch that I ever saw rooting for as a student at Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Probably beaten by the Michigan State catch that happened this past year.
Yeah.
But this game against Nebraska, it was just a long shot downfield. Geronimo caught it. It was really close to the end of the game. We ended up winning. It was amazing.
That's awesome. That's fun. Yeah, and he's had his moments in the NFL level. Now he's with the Lions, but he is not going to be playing this year. The Giants cornerback Sam Beal, who the Giants picked up in the supplementary draft, I think a few years back, has opted out. Sean Coleman, who had cancer back when he was younger, is opting out for health risk issues. That was for the 49ers. Travis Benjamin, also for the 49ers, has opted out of the season. And someone who was close to opting out of the season was which would have probably been the biggest name that had opted out, which was the Bills cornerback Tre'Davious White. He has chosen not to, but was highly considering it, and even took to Twitter to criticize fans who had been telling players that how dare they opt out of the NFL season. I don't know if I don't really have a specific player thought, but do you have any, or do you just have a specific take on all these opt-outs?
I think that that overall, it is totally understandable. And they got to do what they got to do. Anyone who thinks that this is selfish on their part is an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
And that isn't just coming from someone who's also has a career affected by this whole shit. I think that for the most part, this from the players who have chosen to opt out, this isn't going to affect any teams in particular. It might affect other players who now may have a shot, but it's not. I think with the current names, except for maybe the Patriots. Defensive players,
Patriots, I think, are gonna. That's a tough one.
They're the ones who are gonna hurt the most from this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think the Patriots are gonna hurt the most. We talked a bit about that last week. I think losing Cannon was a big loss for the offensive line. Losing Hightower, one of their leaders on their defense, is and Enchun as well.
Enchun, yeah.
That's just that's a big time loss for them. I mean, I think the Chiefs might struggle a little bit without Tardif. They did get Osemele, although Osemele has not necessarily played well recently. And also they also another guy, Lucas Niang. I'm not.
Wasn't he a rookie?
Yeah, he was a rookie. But
Yeah.
they did take him, and they were expecting him to be there for them. Unfortunately, he won't. So the offensive line was hurt by the Chiefs a little bit on this. Did we mention Eddie Goldman too for the Bears?
I thought we did last week. We did not yet today.
Yeah,
Eddie Goldman.
That's a tough loss.
Yeah, that is. From our front, it's not. I at first I actually thought it was Eddie Jackson, our safety.
Yeah, that would be even worse.
Which would be a horrible loss. But
yeah,
Eddie Goldman still hurts.
Eddie Goldman, he's a good depth player. I mean, he's not a superstar, but he is
solid enough.
Yeah,
that losing him hurts.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, regardless of all of this, this is what was kind of expected with this season. We're gonna lose some players. I honestly, I'm a little glad that it wasn't as devastating of an opt-out situation as in terms of us as fans being able to watch a really good product potentially, that we get to see a lot of these stars still make their big time debuts in their new teams, and it's not a complete it's not like half the league, but even regardless, I think as fans we're selfishly really want this to be a season that everything just seems normal, that there's nothing that there's nothing afloat in the world, and that the NFL can just roll and then play their games, and then nothing's going to affect it. And that's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen until this disease is gone. And so I think that the players that are opting out, that they have every right to, and they need to, especially those who, it may not even be about them. It may be about the fact that they have family members that are at risk, that they can't risk bringing the disease home to them. When you don't have a bubble situation for the NFL right now, like this, there is such a high risk that players are going to be playing these games. God forbid something happens where one of them picks up COVID and they bring that home to their family. Like, I for a lot of these guys, they're thinking about them. They're thinking about what would happen if I brought it home and my wife gets sick, or my son or daughter gets sick, or my parents get sick. Like, it's just, you have to look at it from their perspective and not think that they're I saw people being like that they're wussing out or whatever. It's just like, give me a fucking break. Like, it's not just about them. It's about everyone around them that they love and they want to protect. So
that goes for like all parts of life, by the way. Thinking about things from other people's points of view, which a lot of people have a terrible time doing.
Yeah, it seems to be like the honestly, main reason why like the last 5 years has sucked.
Yeah, and it's not that hard, y'all.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to just like take 1 second and feel like, I wonder how they're feeling, not just think about myself or what I've been taught to think.
Yeah, no, it's something that we have to think about in all walks of life. I mean, we kind of touched on the school side of things as well, because I know you work in education. Like, it's just it's so scary, to think that all these kids are going to be going back to school, and like we already seeing it. Like, wasn't
fuck that shit from Georgia, y'all.
Yeah, you saw that Georgia thing, right?
No, it's not, and it's not just the kids are in the hallway without masks. It's the fucking shit that the school is suspending kids for taking pictures and sharing them.
Yeah, that
is so fucked up and so like dystopian and authoritarian.
I didn't even know that one until you said that just now.
It is terrible.
I just knew that it was a school that we almost immediately got affected. But
yeah,
that's the fall that we're looking into right now.
Right.
It's
if you open
scary.
schools, people will get sick.
Yeah.
You will get national media attention, and it's not going to be positive.
Yeah.
You're going to get reamed, and you deserve it.
Yeah.
Assholes.
Yeah, this isn't it. I think that until we all we've been saying this for how long now. I have I've said I've already talked about my own experiences with this disease. Like, it's not it won't be eradicated until we all work together. I mean, like, we are always, what the crazy thing is, we're always 6 to 8 weeks away from beating it. But it takes the whole country to actually be like, okay, let's shut down, let everyone go inside, let's help each other during this time, and let's get through it, and let's eradicate this fucking shit.
Let's just do it. Let's just get rid of it.
Yeah.
And no one wants to, because they're idiots. They don't care. They don't think it's real. Whatever else. I have family members who don't think this shit is real.
Yeah. Yeah, you have like and just bringing it back to the NFL front, like we were saying it, a month ago, and we're gonna say it again. Like, if you want football to happen and you don't want any issues, and you wish that players didn't opt out, like, we should have done something about it earlier this year. But even still, if you're gonna have guys who are going to be put on COVID lists that got sick, or you're going to have guys who do end up opting out because they have someone in their lives that get COVID, and they decide, it's no longer worth the risk. Like, that option is still available for players. If you don't want to have that reality happen, start fucking wearing a mask, and maybe the powers that be should start actually taking this disease seriously. Let us move on to non-COVID related football news. this is just one other news item that kind of stuck out to me this week. Ryan Winters, the offensive guard for the New York Jets, he had a great season last year for the Jets. Only allowed like 4 or 5 pass rushes to get by him. Really a great job. They just released him. They just straight up just kicked, bye, like just completely left him. And
speaking of bad commercials, okay, bye.
Okay, bye. And he ended up signing with the AFC East rival Bills. So that
the true team of New York.
The true New York team, right? So the Bills.
The others are in New Jersey.
Yes, the Bills. So now the Bills get stronger on offensive line thanks to the Jets getting even weaker everywhere. I just like what are they doing?
What are they trying to do?
They
went 7-9 last year. They're like, oh, we need less good players. Goodbye, Rodney Anderson.
Like you already.
Goodbye, offensive line. Goodbye, Jamal Adams.
Goodbye, Brian Winters. Like
goodbye, Brian Winters.
They're entering a weird rebuild state because I feel like deep down Joe Douglas wants to enter a full on rebuild because like right now, where I would have said maybe like a few weeks ago where I thought, okay, the Jets, considering where they were and considering they have all this talent on their roster, I mean, I think that they could make it like a 7 seed. Like that's not like that wouldn't be shocking to me. I think they could have made it. But now with Jamal Adams traded, with CJ Mosley opting out, and now Brian Winters, your best. I mean, this is a team that notoriously has really rough offensive line times. Like that on top of it, now this is a team that looks like it wants to rebuild. And Adam Gase is going to be punished for it by getting fired at the end of the year when this team does not have a winning record again. Like that's just to me that's where this franchise is heading.
Yep.
And with that is it for the news. We'll update you guys today. What's really unfortunate today would have been the Hall of Fame game, which was always something I looked forward to it. I feel like I was the only one on this planet that looked forward to it, outside of the people who actually got to take the trip to Canton. But hey, we're on track to potentially have a season, so
maybe
that's all that matters to me for the time being. All right. So we promised this last week. It was an idea that kind of came up during the podcast. What would happen if we actually replaced mascots of teams with a video game character? We kind of did something similar to this early on last season for the NFL, but that was kind of more focused on situational situations. Wow, that was a
situational situations.
Title
of the episode.
Yeah, but But this time we're specifically targeting the mascots of these franchises. And so Matt, give us the first one that you feel like would be a great replacement.
Okay, so I'm gonna start off really simple. I'm a Bears fan. The most famous video game bear that I can think of is Banjo from Banjo-Kazooie. And there's not much explanation to it other than he is a bear.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, I love it. I think that, and Banjo is just that kind of like fun loving, like he looks like a mascot, would be trotting out. Like he would, no offense to the actual Bears mascot, but I feel like Banjo would be a lot more fun as a mascot. than
I can agree.
Than the current.
Staley.
Oh, okay,
Staley.
yes, because
it used to be the Chicago Staleys. No,
right.
The Decatur Staleys. My bad.
Oh.
Decatur is a nowhere town in the middle of Illinois.
Right. Okay.
And it's where the Bears started before they moved to Chicago.
I see. Okay. I just remembered Hallis as the owner. Well, was Staley the name of someone that was within the organization though?
I have no idea. Let me look.
Yeah, I'll do mine in the meantime. So I was trying to think of one for the Giants since they're my team. And I was trying to think of just famous video game giants, and hey, let's overcompensate for how shitty this team is. Let's give him Kratos, the demigod of the God of War games, also a member of some team. I think it's Brainerd. I think Kratos is a Brainerd. Yes, so we'll be talking about Kratos next week as well. He served as a shoulder, as we know. But yeah, no, I just figured, we'll go on that little like giant, like he's a big man, who basically towers over beings, or would tower over just normal human beings. So giant. There you go. No, I have to really explain much more. Did you find anything?
Yes, there's a company called that used to be called A.E. Staley. That is in Decatur. That my guess is that is what the team was named after.
I see. Okay.
And they changed their name to the Bears when they relocated to play in Wrigley Field to pay homage to the Cubs.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, cool. What's another team that you would like to focus on?
So this one I put a little more creativity behind. The Tennessee Titans. I'm going to change their mascot to Sly Cooper for a few reasons. One, their mascot is already a raccoon. It's the state animal. Two, Sly Cooper has an ancestor who you get to meet in Sly 4, named Tennessee Kid Cooper.
Okay.
So Tennessee just kind of fit a little.
Yeah. Okay.
Sly himself is French. He's from Paris. But yeah.
Yeah, I love it. That one actually makes the most sense, because doesn't like the like it has like the vibes of like it's funny how like that kind of does work out, because I feel like Sly Cooper also, we've talked about how he very much is kind of embodies like a running back, because of obviously what he's on the actual team that he's on. What team did he end up being drafted on? I forget.
Sly Cooper, I believe Matt drafted him as a wide receiver.
A wide receiver. Okay. Yeah. So okay. I was gonna say running back, because it kind of.
No. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
No, we put him in as a running back, and then Matt said, "No, I want him to be a wide receiver."
Okay. I see.
And that's when Chet made the comment that Sly Cooper was a running back in college.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Because I was gonna be like, oh yeah, because the Titans are like the running back team with Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
But now the fact that he's a wide receiver really kind of changes that. But whatever. I love it. I love that a lot. This one was just, I kind of like pulled this out of my butt, really. This next one, it just the 49ers, they're gold miners. What is currently maybe the most famous gold miner in games outside of like a Minecraft game, I guess, is Spelunker from Spelunky. So that it's the main character, where basically the whole objective of the game is to be in the cave, and you're mining, you're also fighting enemies, and it's a platforming game. It's a fun little platforming game adventure type thing. So yeah. It kind of works out that way. All right, what's yours? What's your
all right?
last,
So
last one?
right now, the newest football franchise is, of course, the Washington Football Team, which is currently the most generic fucking name possible, right?
Yes.
And it's believe me, better one than what they had before.
Yes.
But still very generic. So I had to go with the most generic video game character possible, and I'm gonna go with Guest B, the default me that you can choose.
On the Wii games.
On the Wii, usually Wii Sports games. I picked Guest B specifically because it was the whitest looking.
I love that. Wait, I have to actually look at this now. I didn't get a chance. Oh my god, Guest B is the generic looking sword fighter of the Smash series.
Yes, also true. Me swordsman.
He does kind of. He does. Yeah, he gives me. I don't know. He gives me Kirk Cousins vibes. I know Kirk Cousins is no longer there, but like, that's the team's gonna embrace Guest B more than embrace Kirk Cousins. Anyways, all right, my last one. Oh, the Browns. The Browns have.
Oh man.
Have been a they've been in a rough spot. And I feel like how I started this whole thing where I said I didn't really want to focus on situational situations, but I felt like this one kind of worked. Introducing the new Browns mascot, Jake from Dog's Life.
I knew you were going to go there because you are the only one I know who talks about that game.
Yeah, I think there is something I'm now having a whiplash of deja vu. I feel like we already did this bit. I don't know why, but Jake,
there's a chance
because it works so well with this team because the game is so crappy, but it's good in some ways. It's so crappy, and Jake the dog is just his whole humor is that he just walks around, sniffs everything, and farts all the time. Like that's basically what the Browns have been doing since they got resurrected back in the 90s. Like that's their whole shtick is that they're just walking around farting all the time and calling it a season. Like that's it. So, man, at some point the Browns will become like, I don't know, a more like a more respected dog protagonist. Like what's the dog from Smash? Forget.
Duck Hunt?
Duck Hunt. That's it. You'll become the Duck Hunt. You'll upgrade from Jake the dog to Duck Hunt once you actually become a respectable franchise in some way. Just
that has an H, by the way. Duck Hunt.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's
which
you gotta make sure you really sound that out.
Which no, the announcement Smash does have like a pause in there. Duck Hunt. So that you can't take the clip too far out of context.
Nintendo, that's the Nintendo polish right there. That's what that, you know, that's...
I also appreciate the two characters named Roy. It's Roy and Roy.
Which one's the less enthusiastic Roy?
I forget.
Okay. Because I was gonna be like, wow, that the less enthusiastic one must be really sad. All right. Please let us know what other video game characters best represent a team.
Tweet us at Virtual Ball Boys.
Tweet us at Virtual Ball Boys, and use the hashtag VBB. Speaking of VBB, we're going to add the FL onto that, and we're gonna start adding some statistics to a Western Conference, or Western Division.
We are done with the Eastern Division.
We are done with the Eastern Division. We are moving on to the Western Division now. The Anaconda Mountaineers, drafted by my sister, Kelsey. We will see how this comes out. I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
So we are going to start out with we have two quarterbacks. We're going to start with the first one is Commander Shepard from the Mass Effect games. And this was something interesting about when I talked to Kelsey about this already, because it's Commander Shepard can be whoever you want them to be, but for the most part, they have the similar traits. They are the leader of the franchise. They are, someone that, will make important decisions over the course of a game, and you could trust them with having those decisions. They're gonna form relationships the best way that they can, or way that they see fit, and I think that we could go with a 0-0 type situation that we had last week, but I do think that Commander Shepard might have a little bit more of an uptick on the offensive side of things, just with how Shepard tends to be played, but I know that Shepard can be played in different ways.
Okay, so what are you thinking?
I'm thinking we could do, I think, a +2 on offense, maybe like a 0 on defense, -2 ball handling. Maybe start out.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
And now the most obscure video game character on this list that Chris and I both know about.
And Kelsey drafted him, and I don't even know if she knows who that is, but it was just kind of like she ended up just polling him at like when things were like running, like with the slots were running out, and we were like, yes, yes, she dropped the Biceps character and Chaz McFreely.
Yeah. I'm going, so I usually just go to whatever the fan wiki is to learn about these characters. I'm going to old stopping grounds for you and I.
Yes, we if you just some background because we have time.
Yeah.
We didn't meet on the website, but we both of us had long-standing a long-standing use of the MySims Wiki website where we met a lot of great people on. I haven't stayed in contact with a lot of them, but it was fun. You could find my fan fiction on there about past reality shows.
I have one as well.
Yeah, so y'all can deep dive into that. I won't spoil the details there. But no, yeah. So MySims, if you don't know, MySims was a kind of a little bit of a Animal Crossing knockoff, a little bit. But just based in the Sims universe, where you had the you were brought to this town to start kind of rebuilding things from the ground up, and you're not only building houses, but you're repairing houses, but you're also bringing in new people and inviting them in to move into houses and create with pizzerias and ice cream shops and museums and all that kind of stuff. So it's a fun game. And Chaz McFreely was I think he was just a townie, right?
He was, yeah. So just a person you can move in, had a house.
Yeah. But I'll let you take this. His character kind of expanded over the course of the MySims series a little bit as to like what his personality was.
Yeah, so he was more of like a bully type jerk character in Kingdom. In Agents, he was a stuntman, and then he was the leader of one of the teams in Sky Heroes. So he's got this like big bolsterous personality, very like extreme kind of deal going on.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for MySims Sky Heroes as much. I played it a little bit.
He's the same dude. It's the
same dude. Okay, but when I think about his role in Kingdom, I picture that he and Agents. It's actually kind of was similar roles, but yeah. Kingdom, he had us hook up like this hoop that he would like sit in and like or like strap on and then just like spin around a whole bunch, like to
the Extreme Otron.
Yeah, that's what.
Sorry, it was called. Extreme Otron.
Yeah. And then in Agents, you helped him prepare for his motorcycle stunt show. That was at the beach.
Which was jumping just through a hoop of fire without like any flips or anything. He just went up the ramp and then down the other ramp, which I couldn't do, but also like get better.
I guess so. But if I look at Chaz McFreely both as the character and if he was actually a real human being, I picture him to be very offensive.
Yeah. Let's do a 4.
Okay. Do we want to do -2 across the board, or do we?
That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Sounds good to me. Okay, Lydia next up, the only running back on this team. What series is Lydia from?
Oh, I didn't know that was the only running back. Yeah. So Lydia is the helper, one of the helpers in Skyrim.
Okay.
I forget what her backstory is. Just give me a second. But I just remember that she would just, as she was asked to hold things, she would be like, "I am sworn to carry your burdens."
There you go.
It's very, yeah. She's very, yeah. But is a Nord horse Carl, House Carl. Okay. Obtained upon completion of the quest Dragon Rising, she receives the title of Horse Carl from Balgroof.
Why do you keep saying horse?
I don't know. House Carl. I don't mean to be saying horse. I think it was. Maybe I'm just talking too fast. From House Carl. And the R. It's the R. It's the R. I want to move the R everywhere else in the sentence about where it is. House Carl from Balgroof the Greater in Dragon's Reach. Immediately after the Dragonborn is promoted to the title of Thane.
So I have played Skyrim.
Yes. Okay.
This is she's like a very like early on character that you can kind of get recruited. I did not do much with her, however.
Okay, she's
just
a warrior.
Because Skyrim is a very confusing game in terms of like shit you gotta do.
Yeah. Well, so here's what I'll say. Lydia is a ball handling type of character because she carries everything for you.
Yeah.
I think that she's also offensively centered, I guess, but will also defend you as well. So I don't know if her. I mean, I think that you could make it a strong ball handling and then maybe equal offensive and defensive stats, whatever it may be, negative or positive.
Okay. I was thinking just because of the carrying thing and her like being like a bodyguard and being close to the player character, I was thinking like pretty high, like a 4 on ball handling even.
Go for it. Let's do it.
Cool. And then offense and defense wise,
I mean, I feel like maybe we could do -3 on defense, -1 on offense.
Okay.
Maybe that works. Yeah.
Next up is Yoshi. Yoshi from the Mario series, of course. Mario's steed often. Also frequent party guest. Y'all know who Yoshi is. We don't need to.
Yeah, Yoshi's one of those characters where we don't have to research. He also has committed tax fraud.
He also has committed tax fraud, but that has not affected his stance in this league.
Yes, no, it has not. He's like considered to be put on the commissioner's exempt list, but you know we'll see how the investigation sees through first.
Stupid.
But anyway, so Yoshi, I don't know how would you approach this, because you could go a bit like a few ways. You could say that he's ball handling because he handles babies and humans well.
I would say ball handling is going to be high for this.
Okay, because I was going to say offense because it's the ability to just kind of like the innate ability for him to potentially like run out for a football, and even if he can't get to the football, to fucking use his tongue to catch the football, which we actually seen in a sports game before with the fucking super sluggers.
Absolutely. I think that we could even do like 2 on ball handling, 1 on offense, and then -3 defense.
I love it.
Because also Yoshi like tends to get hit. Mm-hmm. Whenever you get hit with Yoshi, he goes whatever the noises he makes. Go and take that sound clip out of context.
Man, I'm scared about like what the promotional video would look like, how that would translate onto that video. I think that would just create a bunch of different words. All right, next is Alrun.
I believe also from Skyrim.
Okay, let's look up Alrun because Skyrim is not something. Oh no, he's God of War.
Alrun from God of War. Okay.
Is one of the 9 corrupted Valkyries. She is located in Alfheim in the Hidden Chamber. Alrun's a Valkyrie and a Swan Maiden, the daughter of Kiar of Valland. Man,
you're really bad at Norse names.
the Norse or the God of War fans are gonna come at me for all these horrific pronunciations.
Listen. I myself am of Norse blood, and I can't read this shit, so it's okay.
Okay. She was a companion of, oh my god, this word, Laugor, Savadhivitz, and Hivor Elviter. I sound like I'm
my god.
The daughters of King Laudiver.
You're just saying the shit.
One morning, as they were spinning flax on the shore of a lake, they were encountered by the brothers Slagvior, Egil, and Volunder. Are you getting anything from this? By the way, I feel like I'm doing this for no.
No, this is you're just reading funny names. That's all you're doing.
Alright, let me scroll down to the combat section of this page.
Auron will maintain distance from Kratos, strafing around and launching attacks in a flash. Players might want to continuously guard while facing her until she launches an unblockable attack. So it looks like it can seem overwhelming, but the pattern is rather simple. Okay, so it seems like she's very calculating. She has, like, almost overwhelming attacks.
Yes.
So I think offense would be relatively high for this.
Okay, sounds good.
What do you want to do for offense?
Let's do 4 or 5.
Let's do 4. I pray for this team's defense stats.
I mean, does Allrun have like any defense mechanisms for Kratos here? Have to guard while facing her. So she okay. I mean, I think I don't know. I think that it sounds like she is more offensively sound than like necessarily defensively sound. So I don't know. I don't know if she would necessarily be weak. So maybe I just feel like ball handling maybe could just be the lowest stat of this.
Okay, so do you want to do -3?
You could do -3 for ball handling.
-1 defense.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, Isabelle from Animal Crossing. I believe this was her. Was this her first pick of the draft?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
This might be her top pick.
Yeah. So Isabelle from Animal Crossing, she's a secretary. She is a Smash Bros. Fighter.
She was the second overall pick, actually.
Even. Second overall pick. There you go. So with Isabelle, I don't think her offense stat is going to be very high, just because she doesn't seem that confrontational.
Yes, no, I agree with that.
And especially like when you add on the fishing stuff and the carrying idea of Animal Crossing, ball handling is going to be, I think, where Isabelle really shines.
Definitely, I agree with the ball handling front. So we could do 3 or 4 there, or even higher if you think.
What do you think?
I think that Isabelle has dealt with handling a lot of things in her time as a secretary almost of the mayor, and also now working in residential services. I think that she would be I think on the higher end. So let's, you know what, to hell with it, give it a 5.
Let's give it a 5. Okay.
And then have defense be -2, offense be -3.
Okay.
I know that's hard for an offensive player, but ball handling I think makes up for it.
No, it makes sense. Makes sense for Isabelle.
Yeah.
Isabelle's character. All right, next up is J'zargo.
Yes.
Who is also, this is the other Skyrim character I was thinking of.
Yes.
And this dude I remember. This dude I interacted with because I happened to do this when I played in Skyrim. I did a mage character, so I was like, I'm gonna go to the mage college.
All right, you can take this then. I have no idea.
This guy's a Khajiit, aka a cat person at the College of Winterhold. He has this quest with fire, like he really likes fire, and has you do shit with like these fire scrolls, where if you use them on some undead enemies, he will join you and become a companion as well. So I think because of that, offense is going to be pretty good for him. Khajiit and mages in general in the scope of Skyrim are generally on the weaker side. So this again, we keep tanking the defense stats, but it makes sense.
No, it does.
For these characters.
It does, absolutely.
Yeah. So he's going to be weaker on the defensive side, but strong on offense, and then probably okay ball handling. So we could do. Do you want to do 3 offense, -3 defense, 0 ball handling?
Perfect.
Okay. Get some variation in here.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, this is offensive line, by the way. Zargo is. And now Grunt, the other offensive line. What series is Grunt from?
So Grunt is a Mass Effect character. He's a genetically engineered Krogan super soldier. There's that word again. Bred and educated in a tank, he was intended to exemplify the best traits of the Krogan and help reinvigorate his species. In the meantime, he fights alongside Commander Shepard to satisfy his natural desire for violence. So dude likes... So based off of this quote as well, where he says, "I am pure Krogan, you should be in awe," is very cocky sounding.
Yeah.
His powers include concussive shot, incendiary ammo, Krogan berserker, and I thought that said like fornication at first, but it was fortification.
It is fortification, so like that could add to some defensive stuff. And I was thinking like he's kind of like a bigger frame in general.
Yeah.
So we can do relatively high for defense. Want to do what do you think? 4 on defense?
I think so. I think
this
is like a guy that will defend the hell out of this and protect the offense as it tries to advance. So
cool.
I'm down for that.
All right, and then offense.
Maybe like a -1, -3 ball handling.
Yeah, perfect. Next up on defense,
Pokemon.
we have Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff, of course, is one of the most famous Pokemon. Not only was it a darling in the anime, but it is a Super Smash Bros. Fighter. Not a fully evolved Pokemon, which is rare. Other than Pikachu, like not very many like fully evolved Pokemon are chosen for things like this. So that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It is round. It is a circle. I'm not sure why we put it on defense exactly, unless it was Gabe convincing us to do it because it grows super big in its Smash Bros. Thing.
Yes, I don't know. I don't know if it was Gabe. I think it might have been me that said that about the fact that it grows super big, and that's kind of like its defense to stop them from passing.
It also like it's known for using Sane, the move Sane, which can put opponents to sleep.
Yes.
So that's some defensive quality as well.
Yeah. You want to do like a 3 or 4 here for defense?
Let's do a 3.
3, okay.
Because I think it's still very conditional on when Jigglypuff can actually stop.
Right.
Things.
Yes. No, I get that.
Yeah. And then it's pretty weak offensively. We can do -3 offense, 0 ball handling.
Okay.
All right. Next up, our other defender is Sanders Cohen from BioShock.
Ah, okay.
Sorry, Sander Cohen.
Do we have Sanders? Do we have an S on it by accident?
Yes.
Okay. I'm thinking of the last name.
No, you're good. So he is a playwright.
Bernie Sanders
artist.
Cohen, you know.
Bernie Sanders Cohen.
Let's
see.
Yeah, so
he's like
I think he's a boss.
Playwright, poet. Is he a boss that you fight?
I think so. I could very well be wrong. He's ruling over Fort Frolic. Originally a renowned artist of many forms who practiced in New York City, Cohen became a leading figure in Rapture's art community. Following the descent of Rapture into chaos, he went mad and became sadistically impassive to the deaths and suffering of others. The splicers within his dominion are subject entirely to his whims, whether in life or death. All around Fort Frolic, examples of his art can be seen. Plaster figures of people who are, in fact, horrifically murdered splicers and other unfortunate ones coated in plaster.
That's terrifying.
That is fucking terrifying. Holy shit.
What the fuck?
Wow. Yeah, he does look insane, too. Like, if we're referring to, like,
that mask.
Yeah.
Leaves around a lot of bunny gifts. If Kelsey's implication is that she wants this person to turn the offense into statues, we might have to have a conversation with the ethics board.
Well, maybe. Well, it's just I don't know, man. We already have like a guy with a laser eye that's also
True.
like killing people relentlessly. We also have Kratos later. Like,
True.
We don't have a lot of like ethically sound.
We have a literal potato mine.
Yeah, I will blow people to smithereens. Like, this is not this. So the way I see this world, just to clarify, just for those worried about their favorite video game characters being absolutely brutalized, I'm picturing this very much like a Smash world, where instead of them actually being blown to smithereens, like they're just blown off screen, and like then like a light kind of comes off from screen being like like from like off screen. Like that's kind of what that's the combat that I picture for this world as a in terms of an all-star type game. So this dude's fucking insane.
Yep.
He seems very offensive and offensive, but like I understand the defensive side of things, maybe defending his art from the hero of the BioShock adventure or whatever.
Fuck, dude.
I look, this is,
you just want to do, it seems weird enough, could do 2 defense, 2 ball handling, -4 offense.
Okay, I'll do
That's
it. Let's
a
do
strange combination, and
it's a strange combination for a strange man. Yes, exactly.
Yes. All right. Next up, we have 2 kickers on this team. Is this the first instance of 2 kickers?
I think so.
I believe so. Brainerd is the only other team with 2 kickers. So.
So we're gonna go back to back on that.
Yep.
He's a character and a potential ally in Horizon Zero Dawn.
Soldier to the core. I'm down to personality. Typically combative. Looks like he has bow and arrows like most people in Horizon do.
Yep. He hunts bandits.
Yeah. So I think a pretty good, because it is a kicker, pretty good ball handling score, and has that like ranged ability.
Mm-hmm.
So, but also like with the fact that he's very combative, I think offense would be a strong point of his as well.
Yes.
So do you want to do like 3 for ball handling, 1 for offense, and that would be -4 defense?
Okay. Yeah.
Or 2 and -3. 3 and -4, or 2 and -3.
No, I think that works. I think that's
okay.
That works the way it is.
All right.
And last but not least, Boomer, the penguin from Animal Crossing.
Yes.
The pilot of sorts. They're lazy as all hell. He's very food centric. He loves talking to bugs.
Yes.
It's also a very massive trait about him. Loves sleeping. Very much, but also just a very good friend. I don't know if I feel strongly about like having Boomer be like this very strong character on here in terms of stats in any which way. It could be one of our more neutral statistics.
I'm fine with that.
As a penguin, I don't know if we want to rule in anything specifically, or as that he is a pilot, as well. I don't know, but I feel like keeping it simple with him might be better.
How about -1 offense, -1 defense, +2 ball handling?
Cool. All right.
Now, with how these stats are laid out, I'm just going to make a prediction that we're going to have 2 positive stats in offense and ball handling, and then the defense stat is going to be shot.
I don't know. I feel like we're going to see this is going to end up being a very strong ball handling team.
I think so. I think there's a chance that offense might be at least positive too, though.
Yeah, no, offense is definitely gonna be positive. I think it's just not gonna be a strong positive. That
Yeah.
not that we maybe initially thought with
Right.
with a team like this. So let's just we'll see it as we add it up here. Okay, it's the oh wow, E for ball handling. Okay, all right. So what is the final stats?
So our final stats for the Anaconda Mountaineers: +2 on offense, an unfortunate -10 on defense, but a really nice +8 on ball handling. Is that more than Matt's? It is.
So the true ball handling team right now.
The true ball handling is currently the Anaconda Mountaineers, who also have a nice offensive stat. However,
yes.
What would be the right word?
Not great defense.
No, it needs to be more severe than that. It's like
disastrous.
Combine the worst parts of the Bengals, Dolphins, and football teams' defenses from last year, and that's this defense.
I think that's actually like that is the worst negative stat that we have to date.
Yes, it is.
Is the Anaconda Mountaineers negative defense, and the offense is not super strong. I mean, it is a +2, but it's not super strong. It's the ball handling that's really carrying the day right now. But
we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, no, I'm down for it.
This is our first team too with 2 positive stats.
Yes, that's the thing. So that's a big advantage, I think, moving forward as well. Definitely, I'm looking forward to that and seeing that how that all works. I'm really looking forward to this more as we put these teams together, because over the course of the next 3 weeks or so, we're gonna finish out the rest of the stats and stuff. I'm excited to start. Kind of, our role is going to be for the league as it's being executed is the role of a DM.
Yes,
almost where we're
like
describing
both DMs and we're both playing.
It's very strange, but for the audience that's listen, like in a situation like this, like we would have a third person like join us and be like describe the action as we kind of competed almost.
Right.
But right now, because it's just us two right now, they're executing the teams, we could just describe the scenarios for whichever team it is, and like just describe like we have Commander Shepard throws it out wide to Isabel scores the touchdown, and here comes Nil for the extra point. Like and obviously I feel like I would love to make it a little bit more fun than that. Like we could add some like fun action items to it. But I'm very much looking forward to it. We're gonna how we're gonna continue to kind of build this little tabletop game up. Will be a lot of fun.
I know that a lot of our GMs don't necessarily listen to this podcast, but I'm always curious to think what they think about how their team turned out in the end.
Yeah, we'll see, because I think that I know that one promise that I tried to make with them is that we're going to try to make all the teams be as equal as we can be, but also being fair to the characters themselves.
Right.
And, yes, you're going to look at a situation where an Anaconda has a -10 and they go up against a -10 on defense and then go up against a 12 on offense.
Against Phoenix City.
City, and how absolutely brutal that's going to be for them.
Yeah.
But on the same front, you never know. Like random things could happen. That's the fun about the roles, is that like there's the scenarios that could end up playing out are kind of endless when things are a little bit on the random side. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to how we go about it, because that'll make the fall a little bit easier to swallow in case things go awry in our world, to bring it all full circle. Next week we will be back with another episode. Not much is planned right now for that. We'll see if we'll bring you any additional news or reaction to any news that happens out in the world of the NFL. We'll have another fun little segment to do. Maybe a little. I don't want to promise anything, but maybe a little like a super fight debate action again.
Yeah,
that's
shit's fun.
That's always a good time. And then we'll fill out the stats for the Brainerd Paladins.
Yeah. Looking forward to that. Thank y'all for listening.
Yes, thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Good night and good ball. Virtual Ball Boys has been brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter at Virtual Ball Boys and find more of our work at Team Chaos Pods.